Hey guys, you're watching TechEdit. My name is Basil and this is the reMarkable Paper Pro, the new tablet from reMarkable that updates all of the things reMarkable 2 did, adding a color screen, a bigger screen, backlighting, and bringing back that refined styling and a rich suite of accessories that look and feel so classical. I'm going to talk about everything that this tablet can do in a lot more detail. I have loved my time with it, and I think reMarkable strikes a wonderful balance of giving you the tech that you need, but not necessarily overloading and distracting you with tech you think you want, but probably don't. I'll explain what I mean in a moment, but before I do, a quick shout out to our sponsor. If you're watching this video, there's a very good chance that you too are a techie, someone with a phone, a laptop, a tablet, maybe even a second phone. I know with my old VPN, every time I activated it on one device, I'd get kicked off another, and it was incredibly frustrating. But Surfshark supports unlimited devices, which for me is priceless because doing what I do, I change my phone every few days. Now, I need a VPN because I travel a lot with work. I'm always on public Wi-Fi networks, and I want to keep my IP address and browsing data private. Plus, with 24/7 support and a 30-day money-back guarantee, you're only going to be committing to Surfshark if you like the service. And when you do come to sign up, if you use the code TechEdit, you can get 4 months free on a 12 or 24-month plan. All the details in the description below. Back to the reMarkable Paper Pro, and before I talk about this in more detail, I'm going to talk about the reMarkable 2 because a lot of what made that tablet great happened after it launched. Sure, it was always beautifully designed, always had a really excellent pen experience with the Marker Plus packing and a razor around the back, really comfortable size, and the tablet itself had a crisp display, no backlight. It also only had 8 GB of storage and 1 GB of RAM, really pared back, but the note taking was excellent, and that just got better with continued software updates, adding things like cloud support for OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, and note-taking tools, as well as the type cover, the type Folio, which included keyboard support while protecting the tablet. Generally speaking, this became a real darling of the internet. People absolutely loved their reMarkable 2, and I was definitely one of those people. It's always quite telling when you're at tech events and you see what device tech reviewers who have all the devices at their fingertips choose to use, and I saw a lot of reMarkable 2s. Now, while you've got some excellent e-ink alternatives on the market, they can still feel quite busy running Android, and on the flip side, you've got things like the Kindle Scribe, which just feel comparatively underbaked, and the software updates for the Kindle Scribe can't touch the software updates for the reMarkable 2, in spite of the fact Amazon is such a huge company. It has had some quality updates, but this guy, well, its predecessor, the reMarkable 2, has been given new leases of life year on year. So it's still relevant, it's still part of reMarkable's portfolio, but now I'm going to talk about the reMarkable Paper Pro. The design of the reMarkable Paper Pro feels very fit for purpose. The screen's bigger, so you have a slightly thicker frame, 5.1 millimeters though, so still very slimline. Metal feels really solid. It's striated to almost feel like a book, but it just adds some grip to the whole experience. Around the screen there is a border that adds space for a thumb to rest, as well as a palm without creeping into the display, and there's a big chin at the bottom, which again is a very comfortable place to hold it one-handed. It's not too heavy, just over 500 grams, so it's relatively comfortable to hold one-handed, but hold it sideways and then that space shifts to the side and you can comfortably hold it in landscape view. Around the base, like I said, there's the USB-C port. Up at the top is the power button. There aren't any other buttons. There's no volume rocker on here because this thing doesn't produce sound. But on the right side is the magnetic point that connects the Marker or Marker Plus. I'm pretty sure the tablet's unibody with the metal frame melding seamlessly into the matte metal back. There's a reMarkable insignia that looks super tasteful. In all corners are rubber points to stop it from slipping, and also there are pogo pin connectors to connect it to the type Folio. I really like how this thing looks and feels. The screen's an 11.8-inch panel versus 10.3 inches on the reMarkable 2. It's a matte panel, so it does very well with glare. If you switch off the backlight, it looks just like a Kindle, but a really good Kindle. It looks nice and crisp in my time with it. And outdoors, therefore, day or night, you can fire up the backlights when the lights go down and see what's on screen. If you've used another backlit e-ink device from Books, for example, you'll know you can control the color temperature. You can't do that on here. reMarkable's all about simplifying things, and you have a slightly cooler backlight than you get on some competition. I used it at night though, and it was perfectly comfortable because you can dial that backlight very low. As far as the colors go, of course they're going to look more washed out on an e-ink style device than an OLED or an LCD panel, but I was really comfortable reading a comic book. I could make everything out nice and clearly, and the extra size really helped in that respect. When note-taking, the additional pen colors are also very handy, especially if, like me, you like to mind map. I mentioned comic books. Now, I didn't get them on here through a third-party app. I had a CBZ file that I converted to a PDF that I then put on here. And getting the file on here was very easy once it's a PDF. Using the reMarkable application and syncing everything through the cloud is a breeze. But when it comes to file types, this supports EPUBs, JPEGs, PNGs, and PDF files, but you're not going to get extensive app support for more obscure formats. I love that you can just fire up a file on here and get into annotating it, whatever file type it is, EPUB, PDF. But more impressive is the lack of latency. reMarkable's improved this by 40% compared to the reMarkable 2. And the reMarkable 2 was pretty good out of the gate. So the reMarkable Pro actually feels more intuitive than paper in some ways because you don't have to press as hard to scribe your notes. It really is instant and feels great with that kind of matte, scratchy display, emulating paper and giving you tactile feedback as you glide the pen tip across, with pressure sensitivity, of course. The note-taking experience is very similar to that of the reMarkable 2 in a good way. There are loads of templates. You can choose between landscape and portrait templates as well, and it's become very intuitive over the years. When the reMarkable 2 first came out, you couldn't select text, resize things, etc. Now you've got things like handwriting to text recognition and a whole bunch of other stuff. Check out reMarkable's website and you can see all of the updates. It is so impressive and easily some of the best hardware support from any manufacturer I have ever seen, keeping that thing alive for years after it first dropped. Because my experience has been so good with the reMarkable 2 and the functionality's improved so much since I first got it, I'm less worried about the reMarkable Paper Pro's high price than I might have been with an untested tablet maker. If you want to pick up the reMarkable Paper Pro with the standard marker, that'll cost you $579. And if you opt for the tablet with the Marker Plus, which has an eraser around the back, that'll set you back $629. And you can also get some further discounts if you bundle in accessories with that, like the Book Folio or the Type Folio. You can pick it up on bestbuy.com or reMarkable's website. Speaking of the accessories, folios, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with both of them now, but quickly giving you prices. The Book Folio costs $89 starting price. You can get more premium versions, and the Type Folio costs $229. I can't stress enough how premium both folios feel. The Book Folio in particular just gives such big moleskin energy. The Type Folio is trying to do a lot. It gives you two positions you can stow the tablet in, so you can just type on it or have a hybrid kind of type and write workflow. And therefore it does feel busier, and it's thicker as well, but when closed up, the magnetic flap that secures your marker or Marker Plus in place, This just feels and looks so considered, and that is such a theme for reMarkable in general, both across software and hardware. Even down to the setup process of the keyboard, it asks you if you're a Windows or a Mac user, and it reorients the experience accordingly. And your first time navigating through each section within the tablet's interface itself, there's a box out explaining what each element does. It looks beautiful, the typography is wonderfully considered, and more than anything it's very helpful as well, so it's not going to take long for you to feel right at home in the reMarkable Paper Pro's interface. The reMarkable application is very powerful. It works across Android and iOS, Mac and Windows, and it gives you access to all of your tablet's notes wherever you are. If you want to opt for the Connect subscription, you get 100 days free with the tablet. That gives you extra features. The reMarkable Connect subscription unlocks unlimited cloud storage. Now this is a really big deal for the reMarkable 2 because you can offload files and save up space on your device. That only had 8 GB onboard storage. The Paper Pro has 64 GB, so you might not need it quite so much, especially if you're not going to load up ebooks or comics, etc. on here. However, another really handy feature that I used all the time when I was reviewing the reMarkable 2 was the fact you could add notes on your mobile or on your computer, and then they'd sync up nicely with the tablet. reMarkable also gives users access to its protection plan and exclusive offers. However, even without any of that, the Paper Pro is still a compelling package. I've just landed in Berlin. I'm here for IFA, the trade show, where we'll see cool stuff like the Honor Magic V3 launch, the world's thinnest foldable. But I've also been using the reMarkable Paper Pro for a little bit longer, and I've got some more insights. First up, its battery. The 5030 milliamp battery should see you through a few days if you use a backlight, but reMarkable claims it can get you through 2 weeks. I don't think that's realistic if you have the backlight on, and the backlight isn't as bright as some competition. It's still very easy to see in the dark. It fits the bill, and actually as a result it's a little bit kinder to eyes at peak brightness, but it's also, because it's not very bright, easy to forget on, so if you do that, the battery will drain faster. The competing tablets have higher capacity batteries. They're thicker, and honestly, I prefer this because it's also simpler and more streamlined. There are many things I love about the reMarkable Paper Pro. One thing I don't, though, is the fact it doesn't have a fingerprint scanner. I know reMarkable wants to keep things simple, but there's a 6-digit passcode that you can fire up to password protect your tablet, and I just hate doing that every time I open it up, so I switched it off, and that's not very secure. A fingerprint scanner wouldn't have added any digital noise in my opinion. However, it would have meant that I could get into my tablet securely and quickly. Next up is the charging. It is very slow to charge. It takes a good few hours. There's more. The stylus, it's different to the reMarkable 2. The reMarkable 2 had a passive stylus. That means it doesn't have a battery, likely why it had more significant latency. The reMarkable Paper Pro has an active stylus, so every time you dock it on your tablet, it will charge, and that means that the Paper Pro stylus isn't compatible with the reMarkable 2 and the other way round. So if you pick up the reMarkable Paper Pro, think you don't need to buy a new stylus and you have a reMarkable 2, unfortunately that is not the case. All of those things said and done though, they're pretty minor in terms of day-to-day use. I've really enjoyed using it. This will replace my reMarkable 2 and potentially my laptop and iPad if I just need to word process. The keyboard's very comfortable to use considering how thin and slimline it is. Very distraction free, so thumbs up. I was like going for a... Anyway, back to me. Generally speaking, between the gorgeous slimline design of this thing, the metal frame and back, the fact the striated sides give some comfortable grip, and the space below the screen is a really nice thumb rest when holding this in portrait orientation. I really am impressed and excited to see what the reMarkable Paper Pro becomes over the next few years if the reMarkable 2 is anything to go by. Hopefully you enjoyed this early impression with this tablet. If you did, please click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and if you've got any questions about the reMarkable Paper Pro, fire them in the comments. I'll be using this day to day for the foreseeable, so I'll do my best to answer.